the Act could well provide that the MOIA and the MEA, in conjunction with the respective missions or embassies in India, could take their assistance and sort of track down such an alleged offender, so that it doesn't become, another paradise for child offenders.
Tracking them down is important, but without wearing the dog collars, that we already have a controversy on that. Mr. Ghumman, the proposed bill makes accountable all those people having knowledge of a sexual attack or an assault, including hotel staff, hospitals, perhaps even the media, offices where this may have happened. So do you think this will help?
Sandeep Sahab, मैं पहले सवाल से एकदम मल्होत्रा साहब दी सपोर्ट करना चाहूँगा। दिल्ली दे पुलिस दे विच असीं एक रेप्स दी स्टडी कराई। ਉਹਦੇ ਚ majority of the rapes were committed by the known people, relatives, friends, this that. ਇੱਥੇ मैं बिल्कुल मोतरा। दूसरी गल एक बिल्कुल है, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਦੀ knowledge ਹੈ ਵੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ child ਦਾ sexual abuse हो रहा है, exploitation हो रहा है, be it in the case of prostitution act, be it in the case of, or for the monetary check they are providing rooms. Naturally, they are culpable. All of them should be held responsible for these acts.
Dr. Kamalpreet, sexual assault will also include sexual intent.
Yeah.
Are you in favor of including such a clause?
We have the example of Hyderabad, where there is this, I read that there is this whole colony which is known as Baba Nagar, because the sheikhs come from different countries, and they know that that locality has the highest number of girls being married and sent with sheikhs. So it is known as Baba Nagar now, because old sheikhs can come and they know whom to track, and the middlemen solve, they get a girl and the girls are arranged and then they fly off. As Mr. Malhotra was saying, that yes, the major problem is that the people who go away, we have children who are being young boys. I don't like this law. The lacuna is that it's leaving out boys. There are examples of boys, again, young boys being sold to the Arab countries for camel rides, and then they're mutilated because they're tied on the camels.
Yes.
And when the camel race starts, they scream and they're mutilated by the age of 13, 14.
Dr. Kamalpreet, when you say intent, sexual intent, now it's a very subjective word. Don't you think it can be misused?
It can be misused, but I don't think somebody will misuse his or her child for blaming somebody, because it's a child's future which is in question. You can't, parents or parents will never, I think, resort to this level to take revenge from somebody. I don't think so. But yes, the problem is implementation.
Enforcement and implementation.
That is because we have laws which prohibit child trafficking. We have laws which prohibit Devdasi system.
Yes.
But I just read a few days back, it is still being practiced. So yes, then the whole village is responsible, because they are taking a small girl and giving her to the temple.
Yes, absolutely. So I think enforcement is crucial.
Enforcement is
Mr. Sidhu, let me come to you. There are some other provisions of this proposed bill. For example, the punishment for forced sex is at least 5 years plus a minimum fine of 50,000 rupees. This punishment could be harsher if somebody from the security forces is actually involved. And the proposed act provides for special courts for trial of such offenders. Are these positive steps in your opinion?
Most definitely. I think just mentioned earlier as well. If you are responsible for looking after children, that is a terrible break of trust if you've offended them. If you've committed offense against them, I think it should be a very harsh sentence.
Now, another point that Mr. Ghumman raised was that a lot of, in at least 50% cases, the abusers are known to the children.
Yes.
But somehow the children keep quiet because of, some kind of a stigma involved with, even though they may be victims, but still they feel hesitant to talk about it. What do you think needs to be done so that people, whoever is a victim, he doesn't hesitate to talk about it?
You need to work at a society level to start off with. I think having more discussions like this, and you bringing and the media bringing it a lot more forward and making people aware that this is actually happening and that there is justice for this. Right now, people don't feel they're getting justice. Even if they come out and say, yes, this has happened to me, are they getting justice? No point, because we're not going to get it. So that's important. So I think the media can really, bang the drum that it's happening, look here. Secondly, I think the schools are very responsible. We can teach the children. We can have sex education classes where we teach the children.
How much of that is happening in schools like yours?
I know we are.
Okay.
We are, and we try, and we are sensitizing our staff to make sure that they, they watch the child all the time to say, are they behaving properly? If there's something untoward happening, you know, if you let the child is not behaving as they usually should do, we ask questions.
In
We don't
schools
push.
in Chandigarh, it's being
Yes.
talked about.
Yes.
But not schools in Punjab
Or
in Haryana.
or the villages.
There, no way. You can't talk all this.
But I think because, and I think all of society, even movie makers, have a huge responsibility
Yes.
in this. If they, which is something that most of India watches, if this can become a hot topic.
Well, I think some movies have been made, but I'm sure there is need to do much
much
more.
more and making it more
More than the
mainstream.
movie, I think it's the advertisement makers who have to be careful, because an ad is aired 10 times in a day.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not sure how many people actually watch the ads, or people just start surfing the channels when the ads appear. That's what I thought. Mr. Malhotra, now there is another provision in the bill which has invited a lot of media attraction. It seeks to let 12-year-olds have non-penetrative consensual sex, more as a means of exploration. Now, is that a provision which should have been there in the bill at all, or should it have been worded differently?
The bill is good in intent, spirit, but this is out of line. This is not conducive or suited to Indian conditions.
This is what Dr. Kamalpreet also feels?
Oh yes, because see, as I said before, if you can give them this responsibility, then why not give them the right to vote? Because I teach political
I
science.
think in the Indian
What-
scenario, it is giving an awakening in the wrong direction.
In the wrong direction, yes. And then I talked about misuse, when you said it won't be misused, and then you yourself said security forces. Yes, when I think again, I think it can be misused against the security forces in troubled areas. I think there they should have some other provisions.
Ms. Sidhu, would you agree with these two
To a
panelists?
certain extent, but I think it's raised a very important issue as to why has the bill brought this up. I think the fact that the age of puberty is coming down. Children are more aware. Something has to be done to tackle that aspect. Maybe not in this particular way, but there has to be some provision to make children aware that this is probably not such a great idea, or tackle it. Yes, you do have these feelings, you do see this, but how to deal with them in a mature fashion. So I think again here you first of all start sensitizing the adults, who again start sensitizing the children.
So you can't brush it under the carpet.
No.
Maybe you need to word it differently
Yes,
in the
yes.
I
Act.
think we need to sensitize the parents first.
Mr. Guman, what is your feeling? Now the legal luminaries are divided. We just heard in our news report that Neena Naik, who is the chairperson of one of the states, she thinks this bill needs to be rejected for this very reason that we're discussing. Aparna Bhatt, the Supreme Court lawyer who was a part of the drafting committee, she feels that this is absolutely necessary because the children at that age are in the stage of exploration and we need to decriminalize this act. Your view?
ਸੰਧੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿਰਫ ਜਦੋਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਚੰਡੀਗੜ੍ਹ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਜਾਂ ਐਲੀਟ ਕਲਾਸ ਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਬਾਰੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਿੰਦੁਸਤਾਨ ਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਦੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਦਾ ਮੂੰਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ ਕੀ ਨੇਗੇ ਜਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਆਪਾਂ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਸਿੱਧੂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਸਟਾਬਲੀਕਰ ਸਕੂਲ ਕੈਨ ਡੂ ਇਟ ਡੀਏਵੀ ਕਾਲਜ ਕੈਨ ਡੂ ਇਟ ਚੰਡੀਗੜ੍ਹ ਕੈਨ ਡੂ ਇਟ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਕੈਨ ਡੂ ਇਟ ਬਟ ਵਾਟ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਦੀ ਰਿਮੋਟ ਏਰੀਆ
ਸ਼ਹਿਰਾਂ 'ਚ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਹੀ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਬਾਕੀ
ਰਿਮੋਟ
ਪਿੰਡਾਂ 'ਚ
ਏਰੀਆ
issues ਹੀ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ
ਜਿੱਥੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੇ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਮੈਸ ਦੇ ਕੱਖ ਲਿਆ ਕੇ ਦੁਪਹਿਰੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਸ਼ਾਮ ਨੂੰ ਫੇਰ ਮੈਸ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਦੇ ਫੇਰ ਕੇ ਆਉਣਾ ਵੀ ਨੀਡ ਟੂ ਟੇਕ ਕੇਅਰ ਆਫ ਦੈਟ ਚਿਲਡਰਨ
Their parents can't even think that this all can be talked in school.
Exactly.
I mean, they would, if this would go, they would come and close down the school. That what are you teaching our children?
ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਸੰਧੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਮੈਂ ਹੋਰ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਵੀਜ਼ਨਸ ਨੇ ਵੇਰੀਅਸ ਐਕਟਸ ਜੁਵੇਨਾਈਲ ਜਸਟਿਸ ਐਕਟ ਆਈਪੀਸੀ ਹੋਰ ਵੈਲਫੇਅਰ ਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਵੈਲਫੇਅਰ ਸਟੇਟ ਆ ਸਾਡਾ ਕਨਸਟੀਟਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਹੈ ਨਵੇਂ ਐਕਟ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਬਜਾਏ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ this all they also need to be implemented very strictly.
So enforcement is the major issue.
Yeah.
Mr. Malhotra, let me touch on another issue. The minimum age of consent for sex in Spain, I believe, is 13 years. UK is 16 years, and in India itself is, I think, they're making it 16 years. Yeah. What should be the minimum age for sex, in your opinion?
This is a very tricky question. I mean, you see, previously what was happening...
You don't want your children to be hearing us?
Definitely. And you see, previously what was happening in the UK was, if you stayed in your own home beyond 18, it meant something was seriously wrong. Now this figure stands reduced to 16.
Okay. In your opinion, the minimum age for consent for sex? Dr. Kamalpreet?
I think it's all very personal, family. It depends on the family. I would say 20 and above.
Ms. Sidhu, in your opinion,
I
and with your experience abroad?
I think I've got more liberal ideas about this. I think 16 to 18 is perfectly fine, considering people are aware. They know it's that this can happen, that you
Careful,
can.
your students will quote you in the school tomorrow morning.
But you have to give the child an informed choice.
Yes.
Explain to them that this is whether you tell them what your opinion is, whether it should be 16,
I think
and
that's
let them
very
are
important.
doing it.
Give the children an
Yes.
informed choice. First they have to be aware and give them an informed choice.
Exactly, and I think coming back to this, 12, why did this issue come up? Are there children who are being criminalized for exploring? Is there a huge proportion of the population, of this child population, who is being criminalized? And if that is the case, and that's why it's been brought into the bill, then that needs to be addressed.
Mr. Guman, another part of the act says that now the onus of forcing a sexual act or assaulting a person would be on the accused. Isn't that, as a police person, don't you think that's a positive thing? The onus of proving that that person is not guilty is now on the accused.
देखो इन्हां गल्लां बारे हमेशा बड़ी कंट्रोवर्सी रही है ओनस ऑफ प्रूफ मैं समझदा भी ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਰਿਸਪੌਂਸਿਬਲ ਇਨਵੈਸਟੀਗੇਟਿੰਗ ਏਜੰਸੀ ਸਮਝਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹਦਾ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਯੂਨਿਟ ਬਣਾ ਦਿਓ ਬੀਟ ਲੇਡੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਦੈਟਸ ਨਾਟ ਅ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਬਟ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ one person should be charge sheeted only when there is sufficient evidence.
Okay.
We can have set up special units to ensure that they are impartial, they are sensitive, and they do their work very honestly, transparently. But I think je tusi appa sirf accused nu kehda ki onus tere te hai, I think it is not in accordance with the jurisprudence.
Okay, since we're running out of time, a quick word from each one of you on what else needs to be done to make children safer in our country, Mr. Malhotra.
What is very important is this legislation, maybe children's legislation, should actually see light at the end of the day. You see, this bill has been resurrected. We had the bill for child abduction issues in 2007 for India joining the Hague Convention. That bill lapsed. You see, the government needs to be a bit more sensitive on children's issues. You look at FDI since 1992, from where it started, where it has gone. Children's issues, family life issues are on the back
government should be
burner.
more sensitive. What else needs to be done, Ms. Sidhu, to make children safer in our country?
I think there should be proper organizations at state level, at UT level, where we as a staff of a school are trained and said, okay, if you see a situation, how do you go about it?
Mr.
As
Guman?
parents, we should be concerned, we should give them space. As institutions, we should be sensitive. And as a government, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੜ੍ਹਨ ਦਾ ਹੱਕ, ਰੋਟੀ ਕਮਾਉਣ ਦਾ ਹੱਕ, ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਜਿਉਣ ਦਾ ਹੱਕ ਦੇਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ.
Dr. Kamalpreet, last word for you.
I believe that there should be a neighborhood watch with lots of volunteers. There are people in our city like Chandigarh and other cities too who are ready, who are retired and want to get involved in giving their children a safe place to live in. So let's have some units where we can train volunteers so that they make the city a little safe place to live in.
Right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us in the discussion. Since incidents of sexual harassment and assault are on the increase, the proposed Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Bill is a step in the right direction. However, the clause relating to consensual sex between children of 12 to 14 years needs a serious relook. While protecting innocent children from sexual predators, one should not end up encouraging promiscuity among those entering their teens. With that, we end this edition of Day and Night Prime. We meet again tomorrow with another issue. Till then, good luck and goodbye.